What's one thing I wish more people would ask me? As a registered midwife and board certified lactation consultant of over 13 years, I get a lot of questions. But there's one people don't often ask me. And in my opinion, they don't ask me enough. We spend a lot of time in our pregnancy preparing for how to breastfeed, how to labor, and what to expect after we give birth. But we don't often spend much time thinking about how we'll deal with our own minds in labor. Mindset is a critically important tool, and it's often underutilized. When you go into labor, you don't know if you're going to have a sprint or a marathon. You don't know if it's going to be straightforward or there's complications. But I can tell you that among those who have a positive mindset, they often will report having a more positive experience, even if things are more medically complicated. When we think about labor, often people think about it as one whole period. But the truth is that labor is tiny individual chapters. And for the most part, those chapters are about 60 seconds, maybe 60 to 90 seconds in transition. It doesn't really matter how many of those chapters you have to go through. It ultimately matters what you're doing in that individual chapter. So when we break it down for ourselves and allow our minds to accept that we only have to do something for 60 seconds before we get a break, things are a lot more manageable. Now, not saying that's easy. Staying in the moment is one of the most challenging things about labor. So I challenge you, what can you do with your mind for 60 seconds that will allow you to endure the intensity of the physical sensation that is labor? Because the truth is, you can do anything for 60 seconds. Now, there's a variety of ways to approach this. And ultimately, it's going to come down to testing them, trialing them, and figuring out what works best for you. If you're finding this content helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It helps me grow my channel and it makes sure that you get notified as soon as I release a new video. Here's a few strategies to get you started. When I went into labor, I did the funniest thing, and I didn't anticipate doing this. But once I was in early labor, I realized I had developed this habit of counting corners. Yes, corners. Any visual 90-degree angle I could see, I would count. So this would include the corners in the ceiling. It would include the corners around any window frame, picture frame, you name it. Throughout the contraction, I would just count. I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keep counting until the contraction was done. There was something very powerful about using my mind to distract me from the physical sensation I was having. Now, I know other people will use other visualization techniques, such as picturing a waterfall and envisioning themselves moving through that waterfall and counting throughout that. Other people will use a square breathing technique where they breathe up, hold for 4, breathe out, hold for 4, and that can help as well. Now, other things that go along with this are using sounds. And one of my favorite ones, it looks kind of funny. And honestly, I spend a lot of time convincing people to even try it during labor, but it is very effective because it encourages you to relax your jaw while providing your mind with some stimulation that has nothing to do with what your body is experiencing. And that's horse lips. Are you ready for it? Yep, we do that throughout the contraction over and over and over. And what that does is it gives you a ritual for your mind to use. And if you have already had your baby and you're needing some support with breastfeeding, check out the link in my guide for a free latching guide. I've made it just for you. So, my challenge to you is, what can you do with your mind for 60 seconds? Maybe you have to practice with your hands in an ice bucket. What happens when you start to use that technique? Are you able to settle into a rhythm and ritual that allows you to endure that 60 seconds without losing your mind? Can you use those techniques to find that rhythm, to settle in, and actually be able to get into a place where you don't feel like you're spiraling out of control or that the pain is becoming unmanageable? Let me know how it went in the comments below, and also let me know what technique you used in your labor and how it was effective for you. I'll see you in the next one.